So I've explained to you a million times, guys, what is a SPAC? A SPAC is a special purpose acquisition company. There were more SPACs done in 2020 than all the decade before, and there were more SPACs done in 2021, up till March 2021, than all of 2020. And now we're already in June, and there's been even more. Basically, the entire Israeli market has gone to SPAC. Everyone is piling in there. So what is it and what's the problem with it? So I just want to go over quickly what happened with the fraud with the 2008 asset bubble, mortgage-backed security, and then you'll see very much similarities here. Okay, so we went through this before, but we'll do it quickly again. Mortgage-backed security issue 2008. The banks were happy to lend out money to any Joe Blogs for whatever because they didn't care. Why? Because they sold them a mortgage. The mortgage they immediately sold to the investment bank, here being Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs would go and repackage it in a mortgage-backed security, which means they would take some nice, good mortgages, but slam in these stupid ones that they were just giving out to people that couldn't pay, and they would package it in mortgage-backed security. They'd get it AAA rated, and then they would sell it to the pension funds who are happy, who could only buy AAA rated assets. So that's how it worked, and then obviously it went bust, and so the pension funds would have gone bust, and so the government said to come in, and okay, got that? Just as a caveat, these are still being made, these mortgage-backed securities. This whole process is still continuing. The only difference is, do you know who buys all these mortgage-backed securities? Well, they're not AAA rated anymore, so obviously the pension fund's not going to buy them. It's the government. The Fed actually buys most of the mortgage-backed securities, so the con game is still going. The Goldman Sachs still making their money offloading garbage. The banks still selling a lot of junk mortgages to idiots, and the Fed is buying it. They're well aware what they're buying. We'll see where that ends. But now we'll talk about SPACs. So SPACs is, I've got a company called pigsflying.com. All these companies are a very nice marketing prospectus. We have Nikola, which was probably the number one, which had a beautiful electric truck, right? Like Tesla, right? But they were going to do a truck. The only problem is they had no manufacturing, they had no facilities, they didn't have a battery, they didn't even have a prototype. They actually just built plastic over a normal truck. That is what they did. And they just had a prospectus. They had no clue how to build anything, but it sounds nice. Electric truck, right? Sounds nice? Okay. All these Israeli companies doing the same junk. We had Monday.com, which sells software to make your office easier, but they basically give it away free. I don't know what people are going to use it for. Then we had another one, WalkMe, originally meant to be to take you around if you're going to tour a city, how to walk around that city. That clearly flopped, so then they said, no, we're actually trying to do training online. Just sounds nice. No one actually sells it. Nikola, for example, we have a partnership with GM Motors. They don't really, all just built on lies. Anyway, they go here, they want to go to SPAC. So what happens is, some guy says, I'm going to invest, I'm a very great investor, right? Bill Ackman, he's just done one. I'm a great investor, so give me your money. So they give him $1 billion. He has 14 months to then go and find an acquisition to buy. So he's going to go and go, oh, this pig's flying sounds quite interesting. Let me go and buy that with the 1 billion investors gave me. He then goes buys Pigs Fly, and then it swaps and becomes Pigs Flying IPO. It's a great way for Pigs Flying to go to IPO without actually having to get any through of the regulatory burdens and accounting needed. So no accounting checks, all fraudulent, doesn't have to produce anything, all based on projections. They already admit they make no revenues. I mean, you can go and check out Nikola. They haven't sold a single truck, they haven't sold a single thing, just based on projections and what they think, and even those projections can't be audited, and it's just complete giant fraud, right? So they go and buy this Pigs Flies. In the meantime, the banks helping to create this, i.e. they make 5%, and the original investor in pigsflying.com makes 20%. So 25% of that money that the SPAC is buying goes straight to insiders who basically inflate the price of it. So the bank, the underwriter, in essentially, and the SPAC investor himself obviously wants to promote and just lie, and they don't need to be audited. They don't even need to. They don't need to have sold anything. They don't have to do anything. They just say we're going to sell 1,000 trucks, but they're not actually going to sell anything. Now, where does this go? Who buys this junk? That's what I always ask. Because after a certain holding period, all those investors sell their 20%. That's why they all drop straight away after the lock-in period. They drop down 20% because all these investors sell out. But then someone is buying them. Who are these people? I've always wondered. It's the EFTs, right? Basically, 80% of the market now is EFTs, which means if you buy a NASDAQ tracker index, all these SPACs are on NASDAQ, so that tracker index has to buy these SPACs because they are forced to. They are called a tracker index. It's a passive fund. They don't care if they make money or they don't make money. Someone has told me, go and buy NASDAQ. So I have to buy every single share on the NASDAQ. Oh, this one doesn't make money? Oh, half of them are SPACs? I have to buy it. That's how they stay in business, because when you're forced to buy, i.e. the pensions funds forced by AAA, so when you're forced to buy, so these EFTs are forced to buy these tracker in because they're a passive fund. 80% of the market are passive funds now, you have to understand. It's not individual investors going, this looks good, this looks bad. It's passive, just passive. I have to buy all the Dow Jones, I have to buy all the S&P, I have to buy all the NASDAQ. That's how it works. 80%, okay? And so that's what's supporting these stupid SPACs, because they just list on this market and immediately they have a captured audience to buy their rubbish. Now, we have to realize SPACs are banned all over the world. There is not a single market in the world, not even China, where you can do this SPAC except for America. That is how fraudulent it is. And I will tell you very much further, please go and search reverse mergers, which is exactly what a SPAC is. It's a reverse merger. Reverse mergers were very popular at the beginning of the 2000s, all with Chinese companies, all saying we sell, we're part of China, we know the way China works, it's the, a booming economy, come and, buy us and we'll do a reverse merger, and we'll also fraudulent, but they had real fraudulent accounting. That's how they actually did it, but it's from the Chinese side, so they were bought off from the Chinese side. The American doesn't know they're bought off. A whole shebang. Go and check it out if you have your free time. But reverse mergers were the thing. All the Chinese companies did reverse mergers, and they were found out, I think, out of 180, 160 were all fraudulent. There was nothing there. They were like, we sell all the wool in China, and then they went to check them out. They actually had people actually go on site and found there was no, there was wool, but like 2 t-shirts were being made from there. So all these reverse mergers, which was the big thing, found out to be a flop. This is going to be exactly the same. It's just selling to dumb retail and to dumb EFTs, and in the end they'll all flop, and then we go into the next thing, and that is what SPACs are. Blank check companies, only legal in America, built on projections and no actual revenues in most cases, or if there are revenues, huge losses, such as Monday.com that loses $1 for every $2 it earns, i.e. I'm selling you a $2 bill for $1. Who else, everyone's going to buy that. So that is what they do, and that's it, guys. So that is where we are in the world now, and that's what everyone who's buying these tracker funds is actually buying.